Hey, it's Kevin DeWitt here and welcome back to the Recording in a Home Music Studio course. In this video, we're going to talk about recording percussion. So recording percussion. The way I see it in a home music studio, we have three options with recording percussion. We can record real percussion with microphones and whatever else you need to record real percussion elements. We can use virtual instruments to create percussion elements, or we can use samples. So recording real percussion, as I indicated there, we're talking about a microphone setup, okay? This is pretty much identical to every other acoustic instrument we've talked about. As I've explained, you may see a pattern here, okay? It's getting very repetitive with what I'm explaining here. Every instrument that is acoustic that needs to be recorded with a microphone is pretty much the same. It is just picking the right microphone for the instrument, the right placement for the microphone to the instrument, where in the room, I guess your playing ability, and getting that sound down. So in our case here, obviously, there is an absolute plethora of percussion instruments. Impossible for me to cover all percussion because there is just so many, right? There's some obvious ones that we use in songs more often than others. Tambourine, shaker, maybe some sticks, something like that. Maybe a bit of bongos or congos, whatever. You know, there's plenty out there, and as I said, there's millions more. It's just ridiculous how many there are. But the recording process for all of them is going to be similar, but also very different, right? But the concepts are the same. So as long as you know the concepts, how to place a microphone, how to try things out, how to plug it in, you can then take your time to adjust for every single element that you want to record. So in my case here, I'll do a simple example of, say, a shaker, and I'll just show you that, you know, I'm using a condenser microphone. It'll be standing close to me. I'll have it plugged into my audio interface, obviously. We'll set our gain control, and I'll be standing there with the shaker in front of the microphone, recording onto a track. Similar concept, as I said, could be used for a tambourine or anything like that, but I'm going to show you obviously the different techniques for different elements. So we'll do one with a microphone to show you an example of doing percussion with that. I will then do a virtual instrument, and we'll probably pull in some samples as well. So virtual instrument percussions are pretty common these days. You know, to get a great sounding percussion element in a microphone can be quite hard. It seems like a simple thing to do, but it can actually be quite challenging to get a very good sound out of a percussion element, depending on the element itself. So the great advantage with virtual instruments is that they already sound fantastic, and now it's a matter of playing them. So you can find a lot of, say, virtual drum programs like Easy Drummer, that sort of stuff. They may have a percussion section that you can switch over to as opposed to a normal drum kit, and then you can just create your tracks the same as you would any other virtual instrument. So draw the MIDI data by hand, play it in with a drum pad, play it in with a MIDI keyboard. However you prefer to do it and what you've got on hand is the way that you can create it. But it's practically identical to creating virtual drums or virtual keys. You're just using a percussion sound. Now, you can even get percussion sounds in your normal synth programs, and your recording software probably has it. Cubase Pro, we've got Halion, that has percussion elements in it. So we can just load up a patch or a preset or whatever that is based on percussion, and we can play percussion elements in. And we just create an instrument track, load that VI up, and basically set the gain and record. Now, the last option I mentioned was samples, okay? Now, this is another common approach because you can get some really great, real sounding recordings of percussion online. I mean, your software itself may have some already included as pre-recorded audio files, or you can, just do a Google search and find free available percussion samples. There'll be plenty out there. Now the samples can usually come in two styles. You'll get ones that can be quite long, that are an entire pattern or rhythm of that percussion element. So, it's playing multiple beats, whatever you want to call it. Or you can find one hits, right? Which are basically just one hit. So let's say it was a tambourine, it would just be, say, one shake of the tambourine or one hit of the tambourine. It might be one hit of a bongo, that sort of thing. And then what you do is you can copy that sample into a empty audio track and just copy and paste that one hit into all your various sections to create your part. So I'll show you that in a minute in my song. I'll show you that process, but I'll also show you examples of pre-made patterns. Now obviously pre-made patterns are a little bit they can be easy and difficult. Okay, I mean, a pre-made pattern obviously is easy in that you don't need to create that pattern. It's already there. You can just loop it over and over again through your song and build your song around it. The tricky part with it is sometimes it can be hard to find the right pattern to suit your song, and it can just sound just wrong because it just doesn't fit exactly the way that you want it to. But you do have the other option of taking a pattern and modifying it, okay? Just because you've got a full pattern doesn't mean you can't chop it up and take hits out or whatever and then squish it back together or whatever you want to do. You have that ability as well as creating your own pattern with the one shots. So as I said, we'll go over now onto my song and I'll show you all three techniques. So we'll record a percussion with a microphone, we will do a percussion with a virtual instrument, and we'll put some samples in it as well. And again, as I've stated, we're probably going over the top with my song here. Then again, we may not. We may get to the end of this process and think every part works, every part is needed in the song. That is what I'm going to strive for. But I'm also, obviously, as I said, trying to teach each one of these techniques. So I am probably creating more than I really need because I'm going through this teaching process. So don't feel that you need to add every one of these to your song. Obviously, base it on your song, add what you need to. You may not, you might decide not to include percussion on this particular song, but you can come back and refer to this for maybe the next song where you feel that you do need percussion. All right, so don't feel that you need to do every single one of these instruments in your song. I'm doing it in mine, as I said, because it's part of the course. I'm teaching it to you, so I am doing it. But of course, when I write songs for myself, for real, outside of the courses, I won't do lots of these elements, okay, because they just don't need to be in my song. But I will always keep them in the back of my mind when I'm going through my recording parts and I want to spice up my song about, can I add some percussion? Will that help the song? And I'll try it out. All right, so we're over in Cubase again, and now we're going to set up to do some percussion elements, but this one we're doing with, say, a virtual instrument. So I'm going to use my Rolly Seaboard MIDI controller to play in some percussion sounds, and hopefully we'll get something half decent. And we'll also show the process of using samples, and on top of that we'll also do the mic up approach. Let's just go with the virtual one first. So same as every other virtual instrument, it's getting pretty repetitive if you're watching this as we go through. We add a track, we add an instrument track, and we pick our virtual instrument. In this case, I am going to stick with my equator, and I'm going to set the bus to percussion bus this time. I'm going to add the track. Okay, and it is going to pop up our equator virtual instrument here. I'm just going to close that down for a minute. I'm going to color this, and for percussion we're going to go with this dark blue or navy blue, and we'll call this virtual perc for percussion. Okay, so once we've got that set up, we want to get our sound right. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to pick percussion, and then we're going to find a sound. Now, to save time on the video, I have sort of pre-planned some sounds and picked what I want to go with. So we're going to start off with a wood conga, and it sounds like... All right, so we're going to play something in with that and see what we get. I'm going to start with the bridge. So what I've decided with the percussion is that I'm going to start this percussion element, at least, from the bridge. And then I will do something for the verse and chorus, and then obviously the outro. But we'll start from the bridge. So the first part of this is not going to have this percussion element in. We're just building the song up. Okay, we want to keep the first part of the song a little bit thinner, and then we'll just add elements as we go type approach. All right, so let's go and record the bridge now, and we'll see what we get. Hopefully it sounds good. Okay, so that's not bad. So we're going to obviously edit that and tweak it because the pattern is very repetitive. So we want it locked in, same as what we've done with keys and everything else. But we'll do that in a little bit. First off, we'll probably have a look at doing the rest of our parts. So we'll do the last verse and the last chorus, and then the outro will basically be left because we'll just copy and paste the bridge over to the outro once we edit it and get it locked in. All right, let's record the verse and the chorus now. All right, that was pretty rough, and I think I'm going to be playing a little bit with this with the editing because I think there's a certain pattern that I was going for that I was struggling with. Normally with a metronome it works great, but I found with this part here, I guess probably because I'm not playing on the beat, I found the metronome actually to be a little bit distracting. So possibly what I should have done is turn the metronome off in this case and might have got a better go at it. But we can edit this to be right. There's no problem with that. So we'll go and do that now. All right, so again, I'll show you the editing process in this regard, just so you know what I'm doing. So I'm going to first go in and do our bridge component here. So we'll edit that. So I need to see what sort of pattern we want because we need to get this on the grid. Now, it's going to be tricky because do we go to 64ths or... Yeah. Dun. Or do we even go more and go to 1/28ths? All right, I guess the best we could do is say select it all, and we will quantize it to 1/28ths, and we'll see what that does. So just out of curiosity, if I undid that, and let's go to 64ths, and let's just do the same thing. That did not sound right at all. Let's undo that. Let's go to 1/28ths. Let's do that. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on a couple of bars. I think that's our best bet here is work on a couple of bars and then we can just copy and paste. Because I just want to see the pattern here. It's sort of... Yeah, because some of them, these ones here, see this doesn't hit on the beat. Further down the track it does. We also need to get the velocity right. So let's get the velocity up. All right, I'm just going to zoom in for a minute here, and then I'm just going to go across to 64th. So I just want to see. No, it's definitely not. It's definitely 1/28ths, but it's almost like this note here needs to be moved over. do it in solo. Yeah, it sounds all over the shop, doesn't it? There's some key points that need to be hit here. There's some key notes to me. But I'm also thinking the length is what's also not helping us. I don't know if that makes a difference. Okay, this is tricky because it's sort of like what I think needs to happen is I think this note needs to hit on the 16th. I think it gets a bit better here. I do. I think that bit there sounds pretty good. So if I was to look there, let's just simplify this. Simplify this by cutting it. And we'll grab just 2 bars, okay? I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to delete and delete that because I'm confusing myself listening to this. So let's zoom in again. And all right, let's open this up. Let's have a look. We'll get back to this. Okay, so I'm assuming they're in the same spot or roughly. Yeah, see, slightly different there. Now, if I go to 64th, let's have a look. So you got that one, that one, that one. Okay, so if we want this to be identical, that should go back to there. That's on that one. This one needs to move. So we'll go into there. So wait, that one would go there. Okay, that sounds better to me. Okay, so I'm going to copy this bit now, and we're going to just paste it over and over again. Okay, so we can just do this. We just zoom out. And we'll go right to, okay, we'll go all the way up to there for the moment. I'll listen to this. Right, so let's have a listen to that. Okay, that works. The only thing I'm concerned about is the velocity too much. Let's have a listen. All right, so if we drop it down a bit. It changes the tone a lot, doesn't it? What if we go just a little bit? Not so much. What if we go 20? See what that does for tone. I like that. Okay. I'm going to go with that. So we'll do that again. So I'm just going to, I'm pressing the Alt key and I'm just getting this corner here where it goes to this sort of pencil and I'm just dragging it and it draws it over and over again. Good. We don't want this bit here. Do we want it to... I'm not sure. Do we want to go to there? Or do we get rid of that? We could even go halfway again. We'll leave it there. We may fade that out in mixing, so it sounds a bit nicer the way it finishes off there, but we'll leave it like that. So that's good. So that's ready to also copy into our outro. But before we do that, let's go and edit our verse here, which is going to be really tricky, I think. Basically, I need to find a bit that sounds right. Now that there, I think that sounded pretty good. I'll leave that last bit. Let's just have a look at this. Yeah, it's not going to come up. Hang up. Let's actually move this back to here. Now, where does it fall on the beat? Damn it. Why did I do that? Falls halfway in the beat. Okay. In the bar. Sorry, not the beat. In the bar. So it falls. Yeah, it doesn't want to lock. Something like that. Let's go back here. All right, now let's have a look at it and actually get these notes in the right spot. Let's go 64ths. All right, so we'll just put them on a beat for the moment. Don't know where that one should be, but we'll go there. Just make sure they're all locked on. I'm not sure about this one. Actually, that doesn't sound too bad. Nah, I think that's hitting late now. Okay. We also need to get the... let's get the velocity right because it's not sounding right to me here. Now that's going to be too high pitched, I think. So let's do the 20 again. I might go down on again, I think. And note length. If we make them all... Oops, I didn't mean to click legato. I meant to click fixed length. Okay, let's go with that. So let's just make sure that that is drawn to the bars. So that hopefully, if I am to copy and paste or drag like that, oops, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to move the cursor, but anyway, we did. And I just copy this across. Oops, we missed by one. Okay, so let's just go back to this. So we'll go back to this chorus. Okay, so we'll get rid of that one. Again, we may fade this out. We'll just leave it like that because we might fade it out. Okay, so that's sounding okay. We've got the pattern. I'm not sure if it's brilliant. I'm not sure if it's going to stay there, but it's okay at the moment. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call that Pt1. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, but what I'm going to do is rename that to, I'm going to pull up my instrument here and I'm going to pick a perk stick thing. Now, if I solo this, okay, sounds like that compared to that. But now if we put the two together, and then if we put them in the song, well, what we can do is obviously blend. If we just mute that for a moment. Just adds a little bit of snap to it. So that's what it's about. It's with it. Now if I take the other one away, just very clicky. Put the two together. Just to give you the perfect example, I'll solo them. So we'll solo one at a time. Okay, so that's that one. And then together, just a nicer combination. Now we might want to, so I'll open my mixer up here. I might want to select both and move the faders together. Now when we get to mixing, we can decide how we want to blend these, because if we have these bounced out as individual tracks, then we can blend them later as well in mixing. So we don't have to make a full decision right now, but I'm sort of happy with that sound a bit better than individually, either one of those. So I'm just going to move these two into a folder and we'll color code that and we'll call that perk, and all our percussion is going to go into this folder when we create more parts. Right, so that's our virtual instrument one done.